Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Monday, July 22nd, day 7 in the Big Brother house. And I'm finally entering my routine for my normal Big Brother routine, which means I am driving to work and I have lots of thoughts on Big Brother. I have a mini cheat sheet in hand. So I can hopefully cover everything in about 20 minutes or less. Actually, I won't be able to cover everything. It's just way too much going on. But I have lots of thoughts. I have watched last night's episode and the previous ones. And we're just going to hit it and just start going down stuff. I will tell you right now, I am going to miss things that have been going on so far. There is way too much to cover. I want to give you the basics, the kind of get to know the ins and outs of the basic stuff, and we'll dive deeper in the next few days. We'll have a power veto meeting today, so we'll already have new information to talk about tomorrow, as well as the dynamics of the house. But with that, let me just get right to it once I pull up my cheat sheet so I can glance very briefly. Let me give a quick, hey, my name is Mike. As I said, I am BB Gossip on Twitter. Most of you already know that because that's probably how you found this. But some of you may be finding a random podcast about Big Brother. Welcome to mine. All right, so what do I got to tell you? I've got to tell you, those of you that aren't paying any attention at all right? I think I already talked about this yesterday, or actually the day before. I don't think I talked to you guys yesterday. So, Angela head of household, all right? You saw that on last night's show. She won it. I liked the head of household competition. I thought it was kind of cool. The mascot thing, and not so much. Tucker and Mackenzie not getting to play because they did get to play. I'm sorry. It was the very first rule was that you had to team up with 3 other people. So let me give you a quick synopsis of the head of household competition. It was basically a thing where we're going to call it Big Brother because this AI thing is still silly, Ainsley. But it's basically Big Brother says the first thing you have to do is you have to make up your rules, right? So the first rule they had to make up was you had to pair up with 3 people, with 2 other people. And that left 2 people on the outs. It happened to be Tucker and Mackenzie that were not able to pair up with people. And then you went through a series of tasks that ended up eliminating other people. The gist of the tasks were it was sliding a puck across a big, huge video table, which was kind of cool. Very cool effect. It was done well. I did find it interesting that I didn't see the ability to kind of hit each other's pucks like you would in shuffleboard or curling, right? They all seem to stay away from each other's pucks. At one point, they were all trying to work together to get higher scores. Seems to me it would have been nice if they could have bumped each other to some amount. Of course, the way physics works, maybe their own puck wouldn't have moved much, so they would have been stuck in the same place. But let's not worry about that too much. Let me move right along to other stuff. So, Angela won head of household. What we know is that she made her nominations, and did they show? Yeah, they did show nominations at the end of the show. Okay, so she did end up making her nominations at the end of the show. Her nominations are Lisa. Sorry, I have to look. Chemo and Kenny. Right, those are her nominations. When she was talking in the house when the feed started, it was like, well, these are the ones who not many people talked about as being wanting to keep safe kind of a thing. So she kind of said, this is why I had to nominate you. She also said on the show, we haven't talked game much. So whatever the reasons are the reasons. Angela, for all of her emotions and everything, she seems fairly deliberate a lot of times. People are saying she just kind of goes with the wind, but she does seem to think a lot before she makes her decisions. But then again, maybe she makes her decisions based on the last person she's talked to. Other things of note. Have-nots. Yeah, there are have-nots. It's 4 guys. They volunteered. Even CBS is just saying, just volunteer, right? We're not going to make the head of household pick those. They were, in theory, picked before the head of household competition. Remember, they got in the House on Tuesday. Today is day 7. And as we noticed, they usually the first time they get the backyard to relax is on Sunday. Yesterday, they got it before the feeds even started because we saw lots of that going on. Probably on Tuesday or probably Wednesday during the day, they got some time in the backyard. Possibly Thursday during the day. Remember, the feeds did not start until Thursday night. What else is going on? A couple other things that were covered. The upgrade. Well, the downgrade people, right? That was Chelsea and Cedric. They didn't get to even participate in the Head House competition. They also are not getting to vote, I believe. So they're just totally on the sideline. I don't know the purpose of that. I don't get it. It doesn't seem worthwhile. It puts them at risk. It's not having much of an influence right now other than they don't have a vote. Neither of them are in danger or anything as far as I can tell. So they're just kind of going through the motions this week. What else? The power-ups. So with those are the power downs. The power-ups, which are secret, almost completely secret, are... We saw Mackenzie get it. It is the America's Power Veto. So she gets to one time in the next 4 weeks. And I believe we've already passed. We're going to pass the first time this week. Where she gets to save somebody. I think it's in addition to the regular Power Veto. I think that's what they said. I almost have to go back and rewatch it. But let's pretend it is in addition to the other Power Veto. She can save somebody, and America gets to vote on who goes up in that person's place, and that they don't find that out until right before the vote, right? So that'll mean that person won't be voted out. Most likely, it depends. It depends on how polarized the House is. It could be that it ends up being somebody that people are just like, yes, get rid of that person we've been waiting to. So don't say it's 100% certain that person that gets nominated at the last minute won't go out. So she has that power. She has to use it again within the next 4 weeks. Keep that number in mind, 4 weeks. That's probably when some of these other things may end as well. They said 3 nominees all season. I won't be shocked if it switches back to 2 nominees once we get down to a smaller House. All right? You don't want... that's one less vote to deal with. That's 3 people. That's a lot. If you only have 5 people in the House, that's not a good example. If you only have like 7 or 8 or 9 people in the House, a third of them or over half of them being nominated is a lot, right? So at some point they're going to go back to 2 nominees. And I'd keep that 4-week thing in mind. I think that's when the AI twist will kind of end, is after 4 weeks. That's kind of how they do these twist things lately. So that is the power-up that Mackenzie has. As far as we can tell, she has not told anyone she has that power-up. The other power-up was Quinn's got a power-up. Now, by the way, how did they decide which power-up they got? No clue. Production decided which one they would give them. They just said, oh, that's what Ainsley gets. Or not Ainsley, that's what Ainsley is the AI. The power-up that Mackenzie gets, she gets the POV one, and we're going to give Quinn this other one, which is called the Deep Fake HOH. So, as best as I can tell, and I'm not the only one that thought this, trust me, but I tweeted it last night, and a lot of people, I guess, hadn't thought of it that way. Ainsley said that basically the deepfake HOH is going to take over the HOH that week. Okay, so they are going to get so Quinn, and this will happen, I guarantee you, in the next 4 weeks, and this week is already done again, so really 3 more weeks, I believe. Quinn will get the chance to take over the HOH's powers. They will get to choose the nominees and they do everything the HOH does, except for that everyone will think it's whomever won HOH for the week. Now, how are they going to pull that off? Ainsley, again, said that this person would be in the proto box. That's what that box is called or whatever. Or will be shown in the proto box. So what they're going to do, this is my theory, and again, I'm not the only one that thinks this way, is they're going to pull this nether region crap that they pulled last year. They're going to suck off the... I say that. They're going to pull off sucking off from ghosts, right? They're going to pull, whoever wins head of household is going to get pulled out of the house and stuck in the AI universe. That's how they'll explain it, saying, let's say Chemo is stuck in the AI universe and you won't see him except for in the proto box. And then they'll just have Quinn make the calls, and they will have either an animated version of Chemo or they'll actually have Chemo record the stuff and say, look, Chemo, your HOH has been taken over. You have to make these nominations, and you have to say these things, and we will play them in the proto box. Now, eventually, Chemo will come back, and you'll say, that wasn't me, that was a deep fake. But, it'll be much easier if they actually just videotape Chemo. They probably have the ability to make an AI that looks like Chemo. They've probably scanned them all in so they could do this when the time came. I just haven't been impressed with the AI, this proto box so far. It looked, the AI Julie that talked looked pretty cool. This Ainsley thing is just a horrendous thing that's going to give kids nightmares, right? The mouth doesn't seem to work very well. I tweeted last night, it's like, okay, this proto box, it sounds like it's a hologram, right? It's 3D. If you were standing in front of it, you would be amazed at how 3D it looks. But the problem is that we're watching on a two-dimensional screen. We can't get that 2D that 3D effect. So they really should have just done a flat screen. I understand they came up with an agreement with this company, right? This company, they came up with an agreement to do this. But honestly, they should have just done a flat screen, and they could have done a much better animation that looked more lifelike. And they could have taken the real Ainsley and Max Headroomed her up, for those of you that know what I'm talking about, and made the actress that's playing Ainsley kind of look a little bit animated, a little bit fake, but have her be the real person. Look, let's not pretend, let's not fake it out here and say there's any AI going on in this season. This is all, as I said at the beginning, this is all, quote, fake AI. None of this is real. Maybe they had AI come up with the design of the houses, but I even doubt that part. I just don't believe any of this AI stuff this season. But that's the deep fake AI as far as I can tell. So the whole thing will happen. The head of household will get returned to the house at some point, either before or after the eviction night. And, that will be revealed. So I think that's how it's going to work. I would almost... That almost has to happen. I just imagine the pressure on Quinn will be high. Even if everybody that Quinn wants to be at HOH wins it, they'll say, look, we just want you to do the HOH thing. So come on, why don't you do it? It's like, but I like the fact that so-and-so is head of household. Yeah, but this is the last week. You need to do it because we need to get our mileage out of these twists, right? Same thing goes for Mackenzie. She's going to do this twist because it's a power. It's not like when Mike Boogie in season 7 won the coup d'etat, and he didn't bother using it because there was no need. They don't want people not to use their powers. They want the powers used, right? So I would expect the pressure will be high on these power users to use their powers. Oh, there's the side note. As we learned on last night's show, Quinn did tell Angela that he has this power. Just like, Quinn, you dummy. I don't know. He's like, I'm doing this because why wouldn't I, share this power ability knowledge with the most powerful person in the house? The problem is the most powerful person in the house is a bit unhinged, right? They haven't even shown Angela's complete meltdown in front of the house on Friday. I think it was Friday. God, this is all a blur, guys. Whenever it was, when she stood at the top of the stairs and kind of yelled, literally took Matt on and kind of tore into him and called him crazy eyes and attacked his mom and she totally went wacky, and you'll see it on the show. I'm sure you'll see it on the show because this cannot not make the show. That happened, and we saw some of the reasons for that on last night's show, right? We saw Angela kind of joking, kind of accusing Matt of game playing and that you're a strong player and all this. But then when they met before nominations, we also kind of saw Matt kind of come at Angela, right? She kind of went at her like, maybe you ought to put me up. Maybe you ought to do this. And she didn't do it. And then I think she kind of regretted it. And that's why she kind of flipped out in front of everybody. And she said some of the things that happened, her version of what happened in the diary room, not in the diary room, in the head of household room. But people are like, well, we didn't see this. We don't know for sure. And when we were watching it happen, we didn't know for sure. Did that really happen? Well, it turns out that some version of that did happen. And Matt was a bit aggressive towards Angela as far as, hey, look, this is what you're thinking. Maybe you should just nominate me. I'm going to be coming for you kind of a thing. So, all right. That's what's up, kind of. Nominations have been made. As we saw, the power veto, Lisa won the power veto. I did talk about that already, I think. I recorded that Saturday night. So we knew Lisa had won the power veto. She's kind of become the most powerful person in the house, right? Because she knows she's safe and people are kind of kissing her ring. And she didn't seem to be in that good of graces before she won the power veto, but now people have been kind of kissing up to her. So we'll have to see what happens as far as that goes. I don't think Lisa would be a great head of household. I have a feeling she's going to have worn out her welcome pretty quick once she no longer is as safe as she is right now. That's just my opinion. People are talking to her, but I think it's because she has that power veto. So what else? Any other initial thoughts? Angela, I've already talked about her a lot. She's a lot. She's very emotional, very emotional. She talks to herself a lot. She overthinks things a lot. I would probably be just like her in the house, I guess. I don't know. I'm just thinking. Brooklyn, she's always mentioning how she's a mom and she's this and that. I think Brooklyn thinks she's a better game player than she is. I think she'll be more of a follower, but she could also be a train wreck if she gets power. Again, we'll have to see. I think Cam is playing a pretty smart game so far. He seems to be kind of just taking the back seat and being quiet and being careful. I mean, I'm not saying he's not doing things, but he seems that way. Cedric as well, I think, is playing fairly smart. Kind of sitting back. Chelsea the same. All these people are playing okay. They don't seem to be at the top trying to butt heads with anybody right now. Joseph mostly keeping his head down, mostly keeping in people's good favors. Kenny is on the opposite side of the house from Angela, right? Kenny and Angela are on opposite sides of the house. I think Chemo is okay, although, we just don't know what's going to happen with this vote yet on Thursday. It's possible that Chemo could go. I don't know for sure. Leah seems to be in good shape with a lot of people. She seems to be taking a neutral role. She also I've watched her yesterday, and she says she keeps telling people how she's a small business person and she's very independent. She's 26 years old, and she seems to feel the need to keep justifying herself to everybody else. And remember, 26 is young in the house this season, and so I think part of it is maybe she feels like she's young, and she feels that everyone's older, and she's trying to, kind of go like, but I'm important too. I'm not knocking her either. I think she's fairly sound. She's fairly, she's okay. But I also think she's a bit intimidated by others in the house and still trying to figure her way as far as what's going on. Again, Lisa's pretty cold and calculating, and her cooking isn't as good as she seemed to think from what I noticed last night. Some people were saying, for being a chef, Lisa's cooking ain't all that. So I did see a comment about that. Yeah, I just feel like again, she has power right now, even though it's just the power veto, which she'll use today. I just don't think she is as strong as she thinks she is, or as people are letting her seem like she is. And I don't think she's in as tight with people as she may think she is. And once she's not in a position of power, I could see her nominated again very quickly. Yes, so maybe backdoored kind of a thing, even though this whole AI thing and all that. I hope you watched last night's show. There is still a whole nother competition that will happen Thursday. Let me quickly get through the rest of the house guests, and then I will talk about that. So Mackenzie is a bit in my opinion, socially awkward. She comes across as kind of a bit aloof, and I'm not sure. I think she's in tight with Matt and Kenny maybe, and that seems to be, to me, the core of one side of the house almost. And it seems to be a bit of I would call it the cool kid side of the house, if you had to kind of label a group that way, right? And so I'm not sure how I feel about that side of the house right now. We're waiting to see. I haven't watched Mackenzie and been like, oh yeah, I want to root for her. And I'm not meaning to knock her as a person. I'm just saying she hasn't caught my attention yet. Matt, obviously, we saw a lot of him on last night's show. I wasn't a fan of Matt before the show started based on his interview, because he just seems a bit like, again, a bit one of those I'm a cool kid kind of a person, and I'm going to go after certain people and stuff. And I just don't have a read. We'll have to see what happens. And again, he may very well go up as the renom in today's Power Veto meeting. Quinn seems very level-headed, very smart. Other than his dumb mistake to tell Angela that he had the power veto, or to the power up, that wasn't smart. I think Angela's going to tell somebody, is my thought. That's my concern, is that Angela will eventually tell someone, and that will be, but if Quinn told Angela, who else will he tell, or who else has he told? Rubina, fun, we've seen her personality type in the house before. She's fine, she's great, she's fun. I will be fine with her for a while in the house. We'll have to see. And I'm not saying I won't be fine with her to the end. I'm just saying we'll see how she does. Give it a minute. Let's figure it out. Tikor, I still like her. I don't think she's done a whole lot yet in the house. She's still kind of finding her way. And finally, Tucker. Tucker is a character. He is always on. He has always got something to say. He's an interesting guy. I think he's kind of in with Angela. I don't think he's buddy-buddy with, I think he and Matt are kind of on opposite sides of the house. I'm not 100% sure, though. We'll have to see it out. But he's definitely going to be a character in the house this season. I think he'll last a long time, and we'll either get sick of his act or we'll grow to love it, right? So what else is going on as I almost get to work here? Power Veto is today. Lisa is going to use it on herself, and she's been trying to get Angela to put up another guy, and she wants all men up, but there aren't many men to choose from, and Angela has been saying she was going to put up Matt, but now she's not sure she wants to put up Matt, but she told Matt to find somebody else to go up in his place if she didn't do him, and apparently Tikor may have volunteered to kind of go up in Matt's place, assuming that she'd be safe. That's kind of scary. I'm not saying it's going to happen yet. We'll have to see. We'll find out this afternoon what actually transpires. In the end, let's say it is Matt, and we have Matt, Kenny, and Chemo up. What will happen then is they will scramble and everything, and on Thursday night's show, the three of them will do some kind of a competition in the AI arena, and one of them will get saved, and then the house will vote for the other two. So going into this, after the Power Veto, they're going to all be scrambling, and they're going to have two names in mind to vote out, because, of the three of them, they can't have just one, because that one could end up safe. So it's going to be a bit of a weird situation. We'll just have to play it out as it goes, but it means the equivalent of having a flip-flops all week, which is kind of what I think they want. But the problem is they've got so much going on, they don't have time to tell all these stories, right? More grumbling about production the next time I talk to you guys. Again, that was my 25 minutes of talking about Big Brother on day one. Thank you for, my day one of work, right? Thank you for listening. Much more come later. I will give my shout outs to my patrons. I have a couple new patrons already this week. So thank you very much to those of you that have signed up and are currently patrons. Thank you for listening. Share this with your friends if you want them to hear it. Shout outs again to everybody that listened to this that I may have met last week in New York. I'm still recovering from that in a good way. Have lots of fond memories, and I will probably sprinkle in bits and pieces of talking about that when as I talk over the next few weeks. But that's it, guys. I'm out of here. Thanks for your support. I will talk to you all tomorrow, if not later today. I may very well record one of these later today. after the Power Veto meeting and after I figure out what else, other things to talk about, right? Because there's a lot. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.